So when we're collecting crayfish in the stream, we'll typically use a couple of different methods. One of those methods can involve what we call a seine. You may have used a seine in some of your other labs this semester. Basically, it's a giant net. It consists of floats attached to the top of the net and weights that are attached to the bottom to keep it secure when you're in the stream sampling for animals. And usually with a wooden pole or plastic pole of some kind at each end. They can be varying sizes. We have 6-foot seines, 10-foot seines, 12-foot seines, 15-foot seines. It depends on where you're sampling and how many people you have to handle. So today we have 2 people with us, myself and my colleague Daniel West. So we'll be doing a modified version using 2 people working the seine, which is sufficient for crayfish collecting. Other species you may need additional people just because it takes a little extra manpower when it comes to pulling that net up. In addition to using the seine, which will be really handy when we sample this ripple here, if you're looking at other habitat types, for instance, if you're sampling along the edge of the stream, along the margin, or if you're sampling in the pool, you may use other collection methods. Now, if you're solo, you can always use a dip net. You guys have probably seen a dip net. Pretty self-explanatory. They're usually some sort of D-frame or square frame, and they can be used to physically dip into the water and against the edge of the stream or underneath rocks and have someone kick. Or you can kick yourself into the seine, or the dip net rather. You can set it downstream wherever your targeted habitat type is, kick that habitat type, and then collect whatever flows into the dip net from there. So seine, dip net, 2 different ways to be able to collect actively. You can also collect passively using what we call minnow traps. You guys have probably seen minnow traps in your other classes maybe. Or if you're a fisherman at home, you probably use these to get your fishing bait. But a minnow trap, basically, when you set it, you want to be able to have some kind of bait, usually. We typically use cat food or something oil-based for crayfish because the oil tends to disperse a little better, and so they can smell that, or they sense that rather, and it attracts them to the trap itself. So you basically put the bait within the trap and then set the trap, usually in a pool, but it kind of varies on your habitat type. If you've got a log against the stream or somewhere where the water's a lot slower, you can throw that trap next to the log. It also helps to have some kind of structure to tie it to as well, so that'll help. So just anchor it somewhere secure. Be sure you mark your trap wherever you set your trap so you don't forget where it is in the stream. And then the next day, some people leave them overnight, some people leave them over 2 nights, 3 nights, depends on where you're trapping. An important part of collecting, first of all, in the state of Alabama, you must have a scientific collecting permit if you are keeping the species for some sort of study. Now, in the state of Alabama, you can use your fishing permit to collect crayfish for bait only. So that's an important distinction. But you can only fish with that bait in that body of water where you collected the crayfish. And we mentioned that in lecture, why it's important not to transfer one species out of its water body to a different water body with other species, because that can cause problems with invasion. Those species tend to displace the other ones, the native species. Again, things that belong in the stream where they are there for a reason. So you don't want to transport them from one body of water to another. So keep that in mind. You can use them for fishing as bait, but you can't take them from one body of water to another. You can't keep them unless you have a scientific collection permit in the state of Alabama. Just as a note. But that doesn't mean you can't enjoy them and observe them while you're in the stream. So we're going to get started.